David, do you remember Mohammed Hijab made a poll a while ago
Yeah.
about the main reasons why people doubt their religion, about why Muslims doubt their religion? What was the most popular option that they picked?
Yeah, so Mohammed Hijab, I forget what the exact categories were, but I made this poll, and it was when you start to doubt for those of you who start to doubt your religion, so that's talking to Muslims, when you doubt your religion, what is the cause of your doubts? And he gave these different categories, like, is it other arguments for other positions are more persuasive to you, or problems with Muslim arguments or things like that? And he gave these different categories, and it was moral problems with Muhammad. That was by far the top answer. Just think how stupid these guys are. I mean, think about how insanely, ridiculously, beyond comprehension stupid these guys are. Hijab literally conducted the poll. Guys, when something bothers you about your religion, what's the biggest thing? What's the biggest thing? And they say moral arguments against Islam. And here you've got Ali Dawah. Hey, they've been using moral arguments, but yeah, we're just going to agree that all these things is true. That's going to fix it.
Hey, look at this. Here it is. Mohammed Hijab made the poll on his community tab on YouTube. This is a screenshot taken by Abdullah Samir. He posted this a day after the poll was done. So Mohammed Hijab says, the answers to these questions are obviously anonymous, so please answer as truthfully as possible. If you are a Muslim, what causes you to doubt your religion the most from the following options? 6,300 votes. Moral arguments against Islam, scientific arguments by atheist apologists, like Darwinism, arguments for the truth of another religion, and weakness of the Islamic civilization. The top answer at 49%, almost 50%, is moral arguments against Islam.
By the way, don't ignore the number 2 response, weakness of Islamic civilization. This has a few components. One, wait a minute, we used to have a caliphate, now we don't anymore. Islam is crumbling. Western nations are by far more powerful, so there's that component. Then there's all of us want to just go over to the West. All of us want to go to the UK or France or Germany or the United States or Canada or something. We don't want to live in our own country. So wait a minute, if Islam is so great and you guys have the final prophet, the final revelation, you're the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind, why do you love to go to the nations dominated by the worst of creatures, according to your book, with corrupt revelations? Why do they make countries that are so much better than yours? That's wearing down on them. We point this stuff out, but all of this does have a psychological impact. I mean, if you're a Muslim and you're at one of these rallies and you're sitting here, it has to be in your head like, this is pathetic, guys. This is absolutely pathetic. So anyway, point is, we focus on the moral arguments against Islam, and we thank Ali Dawah for really helping us use those. He's helping us with this, but they're also helping us with all this other stuff.
As you can see here, according to the Muslims who voted here on this poll, all the other problems combined barely surpass the grave importance of moral arguments against Islam, and people doubt the religion because of this, because of the moral arguments. And yet, Mohammed Hijab is right here at this table. Here's Mohammed Hijab's poll, and Mohammed Hijab is right here at this table, and Ali Dawah is next to him and talking about how the moral issues are no problem at all. And in fact, people are flocking to Islam with it. And I just wonder if when Ali Dawah is spouting nonsense like that, if Mohammed Hijab is thinking in his head, okay, that's not really true. That's not really true, because I remember that poll that I put up on my YouTube community tab, and there I asked people why they doubt Islam, and they said because of moral problems.
All of the Muslim sources agree that she was 9 years old, and all of the best sources that Muslims tell us to go to learn about Muhammad across the board, they say Aisha was 9 years old. There is some slight disagreement about whether she was 6 or 7 when the marriage contract was written. Muslim scholars respond to this not by saying that, this is error or something like that. They'll just say she was probably 6 years old and some change, 6 years, 7 months or something like this. So it could be described, either way. It could be described as I was 6 years old, that was the number of years I had passed, or I was getting close to 7 years or something like that. So it could be described in either way, but the overwhelming majority of the sources that Muslims actually tell us to go to, right, these are our best, most reliable sources. These are the ones that have passed the methodology of our highest scholars. Across the board, they say she was 9 years old. We don't have anything remotely resembling a reliable source on the age of Mary. So the claim would basically be based on Jewish customs. Notice that's not the same as saying, here's what the age of Mary was. We don't have a source on the age of Mary. The other problem there is this doesn't involve anyone having. Joseph isn't set up as the pattern of conduct in Christianity. Muhammad is set up as the pattern of conduct in Islam. So notice the parallel, which is supposed to refute our argument, fails in every possible way, as do Muslim arguments in general when they're trying to defend their prophet. Narrated Aisha, I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the prophet, and my girlfriends also used to play with me. When Allah's messenger used to enter my dwelling place, they used to hide themselves, but the prophet would call them to join and play with me. We have a comment here. We have some commentary from Fath al-Bari. And the reason we have commentary is playing with dolls is supposedly forbidden in Islam. You're not supposed to play with dolls, but that only applies to girls who hadn't reached puberty yet. So we have the commentary here. The playing with dolls and similar images is forbidden. So you're not allowed to play with dolls. Well, wait a minute. If you're not allowed to play with dolls, why is Muhammad allowing Aisha and her friends to play with dolls right in front of him? Well, we have the answer. But it was allowed for Aisha at that time as she was a little girl, not yet reached the age of puberty. It was narrated from Aisha that the prophet made her when she was 7. I had mentioned that you do have some variation between 6 and 7 on the writing of the marriage certificate. And she was taken to him as a bride when she was 9 years old, and she took her dolls with her. He died when she was 18 years old. Now remind me, what does it mean if you are still playing with dolls? It means you hadn't reached puberty. She was taken to Muhammad's house when she was 9, and she took her dolls with her. If Aisha was still playing with dolls, and you could only play with dolls if you hadn't reached puberty yet, and she was still playing with dolls when she was taken to Muhammad's house, what does that mean? Obviously, that she had not reached puberty. When this is in Islam's most trusted sources on the life of Muhammad, there is no source that Muslims have that they regard as more trustworthy on the life of Muhammad than the ones that we just quoted. And so if you want to say Aisha was some other age, what do you base it on? What are you going to base it on? If you're getting your information, you're either getting your information from these sources, in which case, what is it? What's your source that says that Aisha was somehow older? Or you're getting it from somewhere else. If you're getting it from somewhere else, which you don't even have anything from anywhere else, but even if you did, if you had some weird hadith from some collection that no one's ever heard of, how do you say trust that and don't trust our earliest, most reliable hadith collections that we all love, and we say that these are our best sources? How do you throw out multiple narrations from your most trusted sources? We go source after source after source. Whether you go the Sirah collections or the hadiths or the commentaries, wherever you go, Aisha was 9 years old with very, very strange religion.